been voting on amendments to Donald Trump's gargantuan tax and spending bill. Republicans are rushing to get the bill to Trump's desk in time for his Friday deadline. Now, Donald Trump wants you to focus on his campaign promises that are in the bill, extending the tax cuts from his first term, billions of dollars for border security, and eliminating taxes on tips and overtime. But let's level set about what else this bill will do. It would kick 12 million Americans off of their health insurance thanks to a $1 trillion cut to Medicaid. That is according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. It would also potentially cut SNAP program by $300 billion by adding new work requirements. And the bill could devastate clean energy companies by stripping away subsidies and funding that was created during the Biden administration. And on top of all of that, the Senate bill would add at least $3.3 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. That is according to analysis by the CBO. Now, Republicans Tom Tillis and Rand Paul have already said they are voting no, which means the GOP can only afford one more no vote. And there are still a handful who are undecided, at least publicly. Of course, to meet the president's deadline, the Senate bill still needs to make it through the House. And we are already seeing some hardline conservatives in the House complain about the Senate's version. Can you guess why? Well, it's partially because of that $3.3 trillion deficit number. The House version of the bill would have added $2.4 trillion, and House Republicans insisted that price tag should not be changed. And that leaves us where we are in the vote-orama.
Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to Akim pushing this word, no sincerity and honesty, the hopeful elect constantly enduring. Shalom. My name is Korah Allah, and Lord will speak for edifying lesson. This is Proverbs 14 and 15. It says, "The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going." Okay, the simple believeth every word, which is, the people. Okay, you have the people that voted for the president, believing the president, based on their last time in office. You have people, especially our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who genuinely believed in that Trump was a good person, But through the Spirit, the Lord set up men. Okay, uh, first of all, the men out there in the Howards and Bowies, the prophets. All right, but then you also have the 1/3, which consists of women, okay, and young ones, all right, that see right through Esau's disguises, man. Okay, they call themselves the president, the mayor, the governor, whatever leadership role they might have to put on a disguise as someone peaceful, but the Lord had to where He set up and elect few that's gonna see right through, okay, this man's and his lies. Okay, so Proverbs 14 and 15, the simple believeth every word, right? 2/3 of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they believe every word, man. Okay, but the prudent man looketh well to his going, which the prudent man is going in to the righteous man, okay, or the man, the Lord mainly, right? Because really the Lord is dealing with the men right now out there on the highways and byways, first and foremost, okay, because the main job is to get this word out, okay. So I had the article that I not the article, but I played a video in the beginning, and I also played. You saw a concentration camp, and that was from the brother from GMS Valley Camp. All right, GMS, I think GMS Valley Camp, if I'm not mistaken. But he put out that video, and I saw it, and I knew that was a spirit, because in the bill, one thing they don't discuss is that they're gonna bring out those camps, okay, those concentration camps. And it's another phrase for it. All right, and they're also building up and training more ICE members. So why is that? So they could raid these different neighborhoods in search for who you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? That's why not only is the Northern Kingdom being affected by ICE, but now you have the so-called Haitians, which is Levi, right? And then what's going to be next? Benjamin, and then Judah. Okay, the simple believe every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. This is Ephesians 5. Um, Outside of 15, straight to the point, it says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Okay, walk circumspectly. Let's do this. NLT says, "So be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise." Yeah, and that's Jake. It says, "Redeeming the time because the days are evil." All right, and let's read that in the NLT. Pardon me. It says, "Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days." Okay, making the most in the opportunities is what? It's to serve Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Prepare yourself for times to come spiritually, more than anything. Okay, yeah. It's if you know now, if you know there's gonna be a famine, right? You want to stock up on some things. You want to prepare yourself as much as you can, right? But we know ultimately it's up to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's our main priority, right? Because ultimately Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is gonna get his due. Okay, it says Ephesians 5:15. "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Right? So you go up in those churches, you think those churches are being circumspect, you think the congregation is being led correctly to understand the times they're in. No, they're being told beautiful things. They're being told which this truth is beautiful. Okay, the truth is beautiful. Now what they're being told is lies, deceit, smooth things. All right, so they're not prepared for the times to come, not at all. All right, see then that he walks circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. We are in evil times. Okay, these days are evil. You see what the bill they just passed is very significant because it lines up with prophecies. It lines up with Jacob's trouble. All right, and that's an end time prophecy. So it's a beautiful thing that they passed it. Listen, we're not against it. We're gonna speak on it. We're gonna tell this man's a devil, but we're not against it because we understand these things have to happen first. It says, "Redeem the time because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise for understanding what the will of the Lord is." Right? So this is the will of the Lord. And how we know it's the will of the Lord because it's prophesied in the scriptures. This is Amos 5:18. "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light." Right. So if you desiring the day of the Lord, okay, like those small hats that's trying to create a third temple and call upon the Lord, that they could summon Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. The Lord don't work like that, man. You can't summon the Lord to appear when you need him, okay? Like the boogeyman or something like that. No, the Lord is coming upon his own time, right? The Lord says he's gonna come as a thief in the night. So it says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, to what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is not darkness and not light." So yeah, you're desiring the day of the Lord. Our people up in those churches and praying for the Lord, but they don't realize that the Lord is preparing for that time, right? When you see the wars and rumors of wars, and you praying for the war to stop, and you praying for peace, you actually going against the will of the Lord. All right, because the Lord said there's going to be wars and rumors of wars, and nation rising up against nation. So these are the things we have to see: civil wars, race wars, uproars of the people, earthquakes in diverse places. These are all prophesied in the scriptures. So we understand these things have to happen. It says, "What end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light." There it is. You want light because that's what you've been taught. That's all you've heard. And when we come out there on the highways and byways to bring out this word, Jake don't want to hear it. Jake don't want to believe it. But that's also through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh. Okay. In the last day shall come scoffers, right? So you're gonna have those scoffers, you're gonna have those naysayers, right? And it's mainly gonna be these so-called Christians that believe in the slavery Christianity doctrine. Okay, and it's gonna be these 2/3 of our own people, right? You got Edomites that agree that this is the end. All right. This is the end. This place is going up by way of nuclear missiles. All right. You got Edomites that agree, man. And they put it in their videos. But if you ask your pastor, he's not gonna go into any scriptures like this. He's not gonna go into destruction and whatnot. Okay. This is Second Ezra 5:17 says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." Right, and that's going into those checkpoints. Right, it's going into those walls being built. All right, and this whole place is going to go under martial law. It says, "For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Yeah, men are going to be afraid in these last times. Right, you're going to see destruction. Right, you're going to see uproars. You're going to see famines and things of that nature. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and great tribulation. And going to that bill, man, is bringing you that lack of bread. That bill is bringing great tribulations, because here it is, the government made it so that you fully rely on them. Okay, your medical, your Medicaid, your WIC, um, other benefits, welfare, right, that you may need from the government, um, your retirement funds and whatnot. Here it is. They're cutting all that. All right. So it's gonna leave people with no other option but to, you know, either they're gonna have a bartering system to where they could trade amongst each other, but when they run out of things to trade, right, including women, okay, they're gonna have to start um robbing and pillaging one another. All right. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Right. So it's gonna happen, but it's all done by design. Let's not forget, because the so-called white man is the devil, right? And he wants to bring in his new world order. That's why the bill is even called one big beautiful bill. If I'm saying it right, okay, we look out for that one, okay, because they're looking for that one world order, which when they're in charge, all right, through the mark of the beast, through their technology, their cameras, right? They're gonna be tracking you with that chip, all right. So all this is all means to an end for them, okay. This is all order out of chaos. But I have to stop this here. No one's edifying, lest no one say all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Hakwadash, and double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders, great millstone, and salutations to Akim, preaching his word, sincerity and honesty. Shalom.